Alright, welcome back to some Dwarf Fortress. We're going to continue our kingdom of the Fated Swords. Alright, let's find that. We are playing on the Ever-Seeing Land. That is the world we play in. And here's the Fated Swords. Now we'll get this loaded up and we'll continue on building our fortress. One that we're going to put in so many different kind of aspects in there to make sure that we do not get destroyed from the outside. Now the interior kind of dealings with and how to manage dwarves and such we'll get into as we play the game. So just recently spring has started, so stuff is going to start melting out on the surface and we should be able to start filling up this bottom part. Hopefully our dwarves can clear out all this kind of rocks down here because I like to be conservative on that side. And another thing we need to work on is building our dining area. I believe last episode we put in some work orders for some thrones and some tables to start building that up. And we will start getting our dwarf situated for that long haul. Now we've got our first lever. It's being linked up to that floodgate so that once we need to, we can just open that and water will flood in. One of the other things we need to worry about is actually creating, whoops, let me go up to here, creating a lever for this bridge. So we'll go back down to this level, and I will set up a hotkey also for this kind of level where I'm going to have some levers just here and there about so that we are all situated on that side. Kind of get this. I know I'm creating rooms that really don't need to have levers, but I'll probably have more here. I want to kind of get it so that all my levers are in the same spot. This will be my levers for like my defensive levers. So that's all of those bridges that are going to be connected to here to help whenever we're getting attacked. Just to pull this lever now and then close up different bridges when we need to. One of the other things we want to get doing is, well, while we can, we'll set up a couple of queues for different bridges around here. That way we can open up this area for when the enemies attack. We can already have that all set up. And we've got our dwarves sparring, getting better at fighting. So if we do get that early attack, we have them just in case. I believe we should have some nest boxes built up for this. I like to wait a little bit before I set up the first initial nest boxes because it gives these like hens and everything time to kind of breed, so that first batch of eggs I know for a fact are going to be fertile. So we'll go on and we'll start building up those bridges. So under constructions is N and then B. So BNB for bridges. I want this one opening towards that and make it 3 wide. I got some more shale blocks, and we're also creating more shale blocks to kind of roof in this part for our yaks, just so that they're protected. So if we ever get attacked, I don't have to worry about anything breaking in there. We'll eventually take out this door and have an entrance just straight into our fortress, but until this is all closed off, I don't want to do that because then enemies come attack, they have more than one entry into our kingdom. And we're just trying to make it so that we can funnel them right where we want them. So we got this first bridge right here. So that first section where we can kind of start breaking the enemies into different groups. Next, we're going to continue on, build some more bridges around here. So the next one I'm going to have probably right here. Some shale blocks also. And we'll have another one right there. B. We're going to have one over here. And these bridges, no matter how long you have them or how short you have them, they'll still close up and create a wall. So I could have it just like this, and as it closes, just enemies won't be able to get there, or I could have it all the way down here and it'll still do the same length. It'll still close up and just block off this one area. That just depends on which way we're making the bridge close. So I'm making sure it's closing to the right, and I'm going to create one right here so that when the enemies come in, they're blocked off right there. And then finally, well, not finally, we got a couple more to set up. I'm going to put one right here. I'm going to set up a couple more around here. One so that once they come past here, I can block this off. So some will come through and then block this off, and it'll force the other ones to start going this way. Once I get some over here, I'm going to pull this next bridge down here and have them blocked off in this area also. So as you can see, we're just kind of creating these chambers just to keep separating these enemies so that we don't have to worry about them when they're attacking. And then finally, I'm going to have a bridge. I don't want to have it down here just in case I have to open it. My dwarves are so close, I don't want them to be hurt. So just keeping that into note, I'm going to have one door. I'll have it probably open up to the top right there. And then finally have, I think I went too far right there. I'll probably have it right, probably have it right over here. Just in case, hey, if we want to create some more areas right here for them to kind of meander through, I'll have that. Just to keep having those different sections for when they attack. We also need to worry about creating more bedrooms, I believe. I think most of these have been being sectioned off. Down here, my hotkey for the zones is Z, so I can kind of click through here. If there's any empty ones like this, hasn't been claimed yet. So kind of shows me, okay, I've got 3 bedrooms, so I've got still some space for more dwarves to come in. Ooh, and it looks like I have a couple of rabbits that came along with some migrants, and I'm gonna actually put them over here in this pen and pasture zone. So click that, click where the animals that I want in here, come down here and yep, put a couple yaks in there. I will leave this buck rabbit out because I do not believe they need to be grazing. I may be wrong on that. Oh, we got some more migrants now that it's springtime. We'll see. Got a shearer, a wood burner. That will actually make it so that this thresher, I'll take him off of wood burning. I'll make the wood burner do wood burning. And I'll give this guy a different task. So looking at this, annoyed by caught in the rain, being unable to pray for too long. That is one of the things we want to also get set up, is just a little kind of area where these dwarves can come and congregate and just kind of pray to their various gods. So I'm creating a nice little, I'll make it a little bit bigger. I like this, make it kind of a grand temple area. Create a couple doorways, that way dwarves can come in and out fairly easy. Like I said, I'm going to go down here to the to the labor menu, and we will take off wood burner from my thresher and we'll put it on the wood burner. Smelter, I'll leave that with him, and we will let that run for a while. Oh, good, we got another yak baby. Doors are coming down to start mining this area. Down here, I'll kind of go over all these little tips. So this brings up all our citizens. Each one of these corresponds to each one of these little tabs up here. So this first one is our citizen information, so it brings up our whole list of all our dwarves. Also from here we can go through and look at our pets, the other ones, which tends to be any wild animals on the land, any kind of invaders, anyone that's not a pet or a citizen. And then right here, dead and missing. So if one of our dwarves die, this is where they'll end up, or if one of our livestock dies.
Next is our test. So this is a whole list of all the tests our dwarves need to be doing. You can see each one, which what each one is doing. So this guy's digging, drinking, sleeping. These guys are constructing, creating those thrones, tables, bins that we need, more shale blocks, melting that magnetite ore. These guys are planting seeds. We got plenty more tests for that. Planting seeds, as long as that area is set up to plant, they'll just automatically have, oh, this needs to be planted. This needs to be planted. So looks like our farm plot's growing pretty good. So that's what I like to see. You don't have, once you get later on, you can actually, if you manage it correctly, only have a handful of big farms, and that will pretty much supply all your dwarves with food. Now we want to make sure we eventually get into other foods and be able to create lavish meals. I'll also queue up couple more things to be brewed so we can continue supplying our dwarves with that alcohol. Weather is cleared, that is good. Now, one of the other things, reasons why I don't want this to be open up and have that entranceway into our dwarven area is because it is raining. And the longer our dwarves are outside and when they get caught in the rain, that's another thing that our dwarves do not like. So our thresher, good. He's blissful for sleeping in a very good bedroom. Once we kind of smooth stone and engrave it, that bedroom will get even better. So he'll have better thoughts from that. So it looks like, yeah, there's multiple different things for that praying. And check down here. And they're almost done with digging out this first area for our little kind of temple. So to create a meeting area like that, or temples, taverns, hospitals, we need to select right here this meeting area. So first I will select that, indicate the whole thing. I'll probably select it so that it includes the walls too, so that once we get that engraved, that extra value is added to the temple. So creating that area, this is our meeting area now right here, is where we need to assign a new location. So we click this and you can see there's multiple different ones. There's temple, inn, library, guild hall, hospital. Guild hall is when you get a certain amount of dwarves and they're all planters, they'll want their own little guild hall to meet up and chat. So for this first one, we just want a temple, and we'll just do a no specific deity. That way, anyone who wants to worship anyone can just come over here and they can just worship their deity, and that'll hopefully give us time to get our dwarves to become a little bit more happy. Get plenty more dumping. It looks like they've already started doing that. Once they're over here, I can actually come down to this little section. I can be like, hey, I don't need, I'm going to remove the designation for forbidden stuff, because once an item goes into the dump, it becomes forbidden, and I can just be like, nope, now this is all good stuff for our dwarves to use. While it's forbidden, dwarves will not use that item. They won't touch it. They'll just leave it there. So, oh, it started raining again. That is not good. If we can hopefully get that, well, it looks like most of our roof's built. I'll wait until it stops raining. We get some more shale blocks before I start building that again to hopefully prevent our dwarves from going outside as often. Make wooden bin. Oh, one of the other things I want to do is create just a little kind of storage area for wood. And on that note, we're actually going to go down a couple layers. So this is probably where we got beds. Probably have more beds and beds. And then I'll leave that there, and I'll have the crafting area be right here. So kind of start sectioning off areas where I want to have them build. So that's a 3 and 3. And I'll probably even make it bigger. Nice. Well, I don't mind these smaller kind of areas. It looks like our mining dwarves don't have many tests because they immediately jumped onto this. So let me create a couple more of these areas for them to build in.
I like these big open entrance areas so that they have multiple ways to walk around to help with pathing. Because later on, once you get so many dwarves, pathing can lag your game. Now we've got that going. One of the things I've been thinking about is making sure that there's more than just this central staircase. I've got made sure that this was nice and big so that not many dwarves had to really deal with going up and down and getting in other people's ways. But one of the things I want to do is also create kind of stairs in different areas. So I'm going to actually come up here. So this, I'll leave this as the main entrance way and exit way. And then from this level is where I will create that kind of staircase to allow dwarves to go up and down. Fortunately, I did dig this out a little bit. And that's fine. I'll just, let's see. Whoops. You want to start off on the level you want to do, and then you can kind of dig down right there. So all the way down to what I'm going to have as that bottom layer. So this right here is where we're going to have our forges. I'll have it all the way down to this level. Next, I'll kind of dig this out, get our mining dwarves some time to do that, and I want to actually create a couple more just kind of areas where they can go down. It doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical. I don't mind. It's just kind of that growing area. I'm going to create a couple more bedrooms here. These just like that. Give me that. So right here is where I'll have my next staircase. All the way down to that very bottom level. And you can see on the mini map, so that kind of gives me an indicator on that top right corner about where it is. As you can see, I'm just kind of scrolling. Once I get down to here, oh, nothing's there. So this is where I want it. So it lets me know that is the level I'm going to have that at. And I'll go out and I'll dig out these long hallways so that our dwarves don't have to, or so that we've got plenty of space. If they don't want to go on, walk on this level, they can walk on another. Gives them space to kind of move around quite a bit. Good, our dwarves are continually moving more and more stuff into out of here and up onto here. Once this is cleared out, we'll worry about digging out this last little spot, and we can get that lever pulled here soon. Let me double check to see if that lever has been pulled. So going up to here, I'm going to have a hotkey for this specifically. Call it levers. Nothing fancy. Want to relocate right on this level. Looks like it is now linked up. Now you can see by having two mechanisms that is linked up over there, and if we actually come up to this, it should have mechanism right there. So we're going to let them run around, complete tasks that we need to do. Looks like our wooden bins are done. Struck some, that's some more gems. We'll get into that. That'll help improve our money. And it looks like some of our dwarves are trying to still fish. So I want to make sure I take that off. This guy came in as a fisher. I just don't want them to worry about that quite yet. And one of the things I haven't done yet is go over my new dwarves, make sure they'll have tasks, especially my haulers. So only a handful of my starting dwarves are haulers, so no one else is doing that. So I'll make sure I queue up everyone else that is not a miner to worry about hauling stuff. And I'll take that off my manager because he is also a miner. Make sure that those guys stay focused on mining. Zoom back down to here. And when that new hall of doors, some of these bedrooms will be getting claimed here soon, so I'll have to make sure I actually worry about digging out some more over here. So dig this up until that hallway right there, and we'll have another section. And like I said, these are huge rooms for dwarves, but that is what I want. I want to treat these guys really well so that they stay happy as long as possible. Just kind of go through. and then create my doors through here. One of the other things we need to make sure to do is put doors in all these rooms. And I need to set up those other dwarves to have their tasks set up. This is early on while you're getting new dwarves and setting up stuff. It can be very demanding, but once you get everything all set up, it's more of a you can kind of sit back and let stuff run, and when new things happen, then you have to really worry about that. But early on, it is a lot of kind of going around and making sure stuff is getting done. So let me make sure I'm doing this. There we go. And like I said, it doesn't really matter what kind of doors I'm putting on these. One of the things to know is you can see, hey, I've got all these different doors, these 4 different doors for the shales. If I click this, it'll actually give me a list of all the different doors you have in it with all the quality. So say I'm creating a nobles room, I want to put probably a better quality door in that, because noble dwarves, they'll want higher quality rooms. But for now, everyone's just kind of generic rooms. No one really cares. Although later on, if I want to, I might be able to take out a bunch of doors and put new ones in. But for the most part, once they're all set up, I like to leave that. I'm just kind of getting rid of this. You can see, hey, struck more tetrahedrite. That is that copper element. Hopefully our dwarves over here, that looks like they're starting to smelt that magnetite. We're getting some iron bars. We got quite a bit of coke, which is that coal and that burning, that stuff used for smelting. Our thresher has been uneasy for not being able to prey to these guys, which hopefully they will start coming up here and kind of preying in these areas. As you can see, when I created that meeting room, animals tend to kind of segregate there until you tell them, hey, I want you over here. One of the things I saw right there was one of the horses. Horses definitely need places to come over here and eat grass. So, oh, that's actually a mule. My bad. So I'll bring my mule out here. Piglets don't need it. Any kind of birds don't need it. Just want to make sure any kind of animal that has that need for grass is put into here. And I will double check on that buck rabbit. That might be one of the ones. I'm not positive on that, but I'll definitely have the answer to you by the next episode. Just a heads up, if you guys have any questions, just leave a comment and I am more than willing to go over and help you all out. So we're going to let these dwarves continue. It looks like we got quite a bit of these bridges set up. So I'm going to come back down to our lever room and I'm going to create a handful of levers for this room. So on the bottom side is probably going to have, this is going to be my kind of close the fortress off immediately, and this top side is where I'm going to have all the levers that control all the different bridges throughout the kind of entry area. So create a handful more of these. I got starting to run out of mechanisms, so I'll queue up a handful more of these. I know I probably need more levers with the amount of bridges that we have. Let's see. And that, oh, I do not have a mechanism for that last one. So we'll get that set up over here under our work orders. Now that we've got a manager to start getting these guys tasks. Now, as you can see, there's a whole bunch of different mechanisms. I just stick with the good old rock mechanisms. Keeps my costs down. You can create ones with higher tier or metal mechanisms. In the end, it doesn't really matter too much as far as that goes. If you just want something fancier, if you have a lever in one of your rooms for some reason, one of these rooms, it just gives that extra value there. So we'll continue with this. Whoop. We got plenty of cages, that's good to know. So these guys are continuing to starve. Oh yeah, one of the things, like I said, I need to make sure I do is get these guys tasked down here. So we can go through and we'll look at all our dwarves that don't have anything, and we'll see what kind of things that they have, the skills. So this guy's a brewer. He's a little bit of a fighter, so I might add him to our list of dwarves over there. Quite a bit of dwarven children. Hopefully they're running around helping out. As you can see, they're dumping some items, storing items, just kind of hauling stuff, which is not too bad to have. Let's see our thresher over here. Let's kind of see what skills he's got. He's dabbling planter, so I might have him do that. Or he looks like he's a dabbling stone carver. So, oh, he's also a competent sword dwarf. So he might also end up being part of our army. So one of the things, planters, we'll got a couple planters there. Both of those guys are already all set up. Let's see, stonecutter. We got a couple stonecutters. Miners, mason. These guys, I believe, are the ones that go around and smooth stone. I'm gonna create one for our stone carvers. Our stone carvers are the ones that make different little crafts out of stone. So stone crafting is what I want to do. So our stone crafter right here. Let's see. Well, it doesn't look like anyone has that task, but that is a good kind of one. If, for example, where is he at? This thresher. He is not really doing anything. He's kind of just smelting stuff, and I want to give him that kind of enjoyment creating good stuff, or creating crafts, leveling that up, and as he does that, he'll find enjoyment in doing such. And more builders. I want to make sure everyone's selected, because everyone should be a builder except for my miners, of course. Our smelter's working hard there. Let's see, what did I say? There's also a handful of other dwarves we need to make sure we go through. Oh, yes, adding more to the military. Sign position 6, and now this is all the dwarves that are not currently in any kind of a military that actually have skills. So these couple people do that. Also, the fisher dwarf, and I'll leave my wood burner off of that. Get all these guys to start training up over here, and hopefully now that we've got some more iron, whoops, we got 3, not as much as I'd like, but I can probably unqueue some of this stuff until I start working through the magnetite, and once I get plenty more magnetite, then which is that iron ore, then I'll have them get back into smelting and creating more of that kind of charcoal, that stuff that we need to forge other things. Now over here, our metalsmith, under weapons, I'm gonna create iron. So iron, I got a couple of dwarves that need some iron warhammers. Well, looks like someone's already taken up that task. Let me just make sure I don't have anyone that is a good kind of weaponsmith. And with this, you can actually have multiple different ones selected, so that, hey, I want you to be, if you're my weaponsmith, you can also be my armor or my blacksmith. But for me right now, I just want to kind of get it so that, well, this guy is an adequate weaponsmith. So he's currently in the military, and I might come down here. I'm going to actually take him off of there. click back down on this and remove assignment. So he's no longer going to be doing that, and he's going to be doing weaponsmithing. And I want to make sure only he does that. Only the selected dwarf does my wood carving. Whoops, take that off of there. Just going through and kind of doing that managing side of things. And hopefully that first dwarf, whoever it is that is sent to do this, let's see, it's actually my brewer. I might probably cancel that so that he doesn't do that and my weaponsmith does. We'll go back down here, iron, and we'll do that iron warhammer. Now my weaponsmith should start going down there and do that. Let's see, which one was he? Yeah, Kubak. So Kubak, we can actually follow him directly. So he's coming over here. He's grabbing all the needed materials for this, which is just an iron bar and a charcoal, which means I can actually create a couple of warhammers. Let's pause and make sure we've got him to do that. I want to say I also need a sword. And you can see this is a whole list of all our different weapons. These are the generic kind of dwarf weapons. But as enemies attack, some enemies might bring some unique weapons, and our dwarves can actually get better at using those. So I'm going to come back up here, and one of the things I want to do is I want to make sure I equip these guys. So let's equip, well, let's select all these. Let's see what kind of person. You are an axe dwarf, Volkar. So let's give, ooh, do we have an axe? I don't think we have an axe quite for you. Moldov, we do have that new hammer for you, so I'm gonna just make sure I just assign that. You don't have to. Your dwarves will come and automatically grab a weapon, but this is just so that I can make sure, hey, they're gonna come do that. So he might have just created that, but it looks like there's probably a task to actually grab this and move it somewhere else currently. So you can just come down here. Oh, got that. And like I said, I need to make sure I have that task to also create a iron battle axe for our other dwarf. We'll just go through Babok. Let's see what kind of weapon you have. You're a hammer dwarf, so we're getting that second hammer for him. Sildel has a hammer already. Zolban, pike dwarf, so make sure to get him a spear or a pike combat. You can see right there. And then a tier, which should be right here. He's also a swords dwarf, which we're creating that sword for him. So we just need to make sure we create a pike for this gentleman, and we will have our army equipped with the weapons that they need. So iron, let's create an iron, oh, not an iron pick. Iron, I don't believe, yeah, we don't have pikes, but we can give him a spear instead. Which, you don't have to make sure you give these dwarves what they're proficient in. You can actually give them a hammer and they'll get better with the hammer instead of the sword that they're used to, and they'll just level that up instead. So these guys are all working hard, getting better with their skills. As you can see, let's go to my militia commander. So he initially was not the super great in everything, but he's, as you can see, leveled up, and he's a dabbling biter, a dabbling kicker, adequate striker, adequate armor user, dodger, shield user. So the more they train, the higher those get up, and hopefully we can get some legendary dwarf warriors. So it looks like it stopped raining outside, so I'm going to set up a couple more tests to get this floor up here built. Let's see if we got enough shale blocks. What do we need? 120. We have 68, so not quite enough to fulfill that. So I'll just do this part right here. 45. We got plenty for that. Let our dwarves get to work doing that. And good, they're continuing to take the stone and dumping it here. I'm going to unforbid that so that if we want to, we can use that stuff again. And I believe, let me come down here to our meeting area. And I'm going to actually set this to kind of be smoothed out. It's got quite a bit of test. I'm actually going to hold off on that until we can get some more dwarves in and we start building that up. It doesn't need to be smooth quite yet, but we do need to set up our eating area, dining hall, which is good. It's already been set up. And I'm going to set it up with a bunch of tables and chairs. So let's see, we'll create a little room over here. I'm just going to hotkey through this. And with this, I do like to kind of keep it a little bit more symmetrical. Let's do that. We'll have a table there, table on the other side, and some more chairs. Give our dwarves that space to, because each table needs its own, or each chair needs its own table. So if you have one dwarf sitting on this side, he needs that table to eat. So they can't use that same table if they're eating. But if I can kind of set it up, I want to keep this kind of area close together so our dwarves have that time to congregate and to chat with each other. So let's see. I'll let this one be a little bit longer right here. And then just continue to set up our area for these dwarves to eat, and I can undesignate that other area. One of the things is this is going to be our food storage, so we're going to create a new stockpile and accept, and this is going to be any food items. Now, that's great and all, however, I don't want every single food item, so I'm going to kind of customize this a little bit. The ones I don't want here are seeds. So I'll take off the seeds so that they don't build up there, but I'll make sure everything else is selected, and our dwarves will start bringing food down from this top area. And one of the things I'm going to do with this main stockpile, now that I've got that food area set up, I'm going to come down here to our food. I'm going to unselect all, and then I'm just going to select those seeds. Keep these seeds up here for now, close to our farming area. And our dwarves should start bringing that stuff down. One of the things I'm going to want to do eventually when we build this out is I'm going to actually have this be built up so it's not exactly right next to the surface, but it's close so that we have access to that soil, the sand, any kind of stuff that isn't rock, because that is where we're going to set up kind of our farming area. We're going to have it so that these dwarves can do all their farming, their cooking, their cooking, and then bring it down here and store it in the food area. We might have the cooking area set up here, our brewing area set up here, so they'll bring down the food. These guys will come over here, cook it up, brew it up, and then we'll have the food storage right next to it. So I will create a nice little walkway right here. And I'm going to actually have, I should have thought ahead and have this staircase go up further, but that is perfectly fine that we do not have that. Because I'm going to have it actually maybe right here. Completely out of the way of other things. Yes. So I'll have a nice little kind of come up to the level right below that. And then I'll have another one maybe right here. Come up to that same level. Dig through here, dig through here. Actually, I'll have another staircase. Just kind of want to give it so that
make it so that our dwarves have plenty of places to come up and down from our different levels. So I'm gonna connect all these. It looks like we are not quite where we want to be as far as the level goes, but this should hopefully, oh, oh, right here, this is where we want it. Perfect. That is my bad. So this is where we're going to have our farming area. And I will actually also move our animals over here. I'm just going to kind of create a couple of different areas where I know our dwarves are going to come over here and do our farming. Like I said, it's not the greatest, perfect kind of farming setup, but it is what we need for what we got. Make this one a little bit larger. I like to be maybe a little bit more symmetrical. I'm going to have this so that that is more centered in there. I'm gonna undo that. Get it so that right there. Entranceway is right there. And this can actually be moved over one. Perfect. I haven't started mining that, so this one be moved over one. This one can be moved over one also. And we'll have our farms set up over here now. So what I'm going to do is let these guys get to work. As you can see, they stopped mining here because it is damp. It's that water level above it. It is perfectly fine that we mine this. We just need to make sure we don't mine up from here. Because if we mine up, we get all that river flowing into here. And unfortunately, I got to kind of keep selecting through here and make sure that these dwarves will continue to mine this area. Started raining again. You can see this digging designation canceled because it is wet. And back here, I have to select it a couple more times. And that should be all set. Get rid of all these notifications, and this is all set for us to set up our farms over here. So, whoops, I did not mean to do that. I meant to select the whole area. So under workshops, under farming, some more farm plots. We'll just set them up, but we will only use one for now. Next thing, yep. Click through here. And then finally, last one for now. This will give us plenty of room. We can also expand further down. This is far enough away from where our enemies are going to be at, so we don't have to worry about that. Plus, we'll have more space and maybe even connect it up to our area over here so that our guinea fowl and such are along this kind of same area. I might create a wall here so that this isn't connected to everything else. Go back down to our final level right here and create that last little spot over here. So workshops, farming, farming plots. So one is going to be set up for our plump helmets, which is, like I said, that main food source. And see, got some cavefish here that our dwarves are actually eating and such, which is really good. One of the things I want to do now is undesignate this top area as our meeting hall, our dining hall. So I'm going to remove this zone permanently. So our dwarves are now going to start eating downstairs. I'm going to get rid of this dormitory also, which having a dormitory is not bad, but now that our dwarves are having rooms, we want to make sure that these are all furnished and they're moving into rooms like we want them to be, because they don't get that same boost
they actually get a negative kind of a boost for sleeping in a dormitory because dwarves can end up waking them up or getting in their wake. Because if a dwarf's sleeping and another dwarf comes walking by, well, that can be a little bit of a disturbance. One of the things I'm actually going to make sure to do is, although we did kind of plan on having this area be where we're going to cook, I might change that up and have it be on the floor above. I'll probably have another staircase over here. This is so that the workshops aren't directly above where our dwarves are sleeping, because that can also disrupt their sleep, and dwarves need their sleep and they need to not be disturbed if they want that blissful rest and that positive modifier. Fire. I just noticed over here, it looks like we got some more migrants. Good thing we're setting up some more bedrooms. So, getting these all made up. And we'll probably dig out some more on that left side. Or maybe the floor below, honestly. There we go. We're all set up with these bedrooms on this floor. Looks like we got more migrants coming in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, ooh, 8. We're getting quite a bit of them. It looks like 8 new dwarves. This is something we'll have to go through and we're going to have to manage ourselves and get these guys all tasked up. New arrivals, plenty more farmers it looks like. And put more children. Well, they'll hopefully get along by just building stuff. And let's see what we can do with these dwarves. So we'll just kind of click through here. Hey, might have some of these dwarves down here become farmers. That's a brewer over there. I'm gonna actually create a new work detail for people who brew. That way I know who is doing that and I want to keep them continuing to do that. So y'all can be brewers, especially you, my competent brewer. And let's see, haulers. Need to make sure I designate everyone as haulers again. And also same with the builders. We got, and I select this miner as also a mechanic. Although I know he is my one of my main miners. I'm gonna have him kind of do that because it looks like our miners are doing a great job keeping up with everything. I'm gonna make this guy also a mason, this other miner. We got builders set up. We got our weaponsmith working hard. Our masons, mechanics, orderlies. So these are going to be our people that help when it comes to healing the wounded. Luckily, we don't have to worry about that for now. Let's come back down to here. Let's just double check. We got plenty of coke. So they're continuing to do that. Our dwarves over here have got their weapons all smithed up. So come back up to the top. Just make sure the Zolban, he's going to be my pike dwarf. So I'm going to designate that, well, that spear, not exactly a pike. So now he's going to come grab that weapon. My hammer dwarf, this Moldath. Make sure I give him that. They'll normally come down, and if you just have plenty of weapons, they'll come in and they'll grab other weapon, but I like to make sure each dwarf has their specific weapon attached to them. It's just kind of that extra little bit. Let's see. Moldath, we got you. Let's see, Vadok or Vabok. Let's see, what is your combat? You were a hammer dwarf, so let's make sure that you also get a hammer. A weapon specific, and we'll give you that hammer. So we can kind of click through here and bring up all these guys. Oh, whoops, I have been forgetting to confirm their weapons. So this guy, I need to make sure I put that back on there and confirm it so that they go and grab that. All that. That was that, I believe that hammer dwarf. Come double check. Yep, you're my hammer dwarf. So Moldath in details. New weapon. Give you that hammer because I believe Vabok has the other one. Nope. I selected the wrong one. And you see when I selected that, took off this, which not the end of the world. I'll just make sure I give you, say, the other one. So this nice hammer right here. Volkar, I believe you were my other dwarf that was a competent axe dwarf, so come over here. I am misclicking. Sorry about that, but till I get this all set up, the iron battle axe, confirm, and then the last person I believe is my sword dwarf. Skills, combat, sword dwarf. So perfect. We'll get him equipped with that sword. And now they'll start training and getting better with their sword, their specific weapons I have them. So give them that iron short sword. Confirm that. Now everyone should go and grab their weapons. It looks like we also need some shields, and we'll need to start getting some armor for these dwarves. So let's see, we've got nothing being smelted right now, unfortunately. Let's see what our smelter is doing, our thresher. Well, it's good. He's blissful remembering the good. He's thirsty. Let's follow him about. Come over here, grab his drink. Let's see, store item and bin. You know what? I might take that off of your labor. So you can also select their labors over here. You can be like, hey, I don't want you to be doing that anymore. So it's just an also easy way to quickly undesignate things. And I want you right now to be mainly smelting up magnetite ore. One of the things now I need to also do is create a armor smith. Hopefully one of our dwarves has that armor smith skill. If not, we might just have to select a new dwarf to become our armor smith. So armoring right there. So you got blacksmithing, metal crafting. Blacksmithing is creating any kind of furniture with metal. So that is different than our weaponsmith, our armorer. And then you got metal crafting, which is making kind of trinkets. So I'm going to come down here. There's no one that has that skill. So I'm going to actually designate my weaponsmith to be doing that also. So they'll be going about, and looks like this guy is now dragging that magnetite ore down to that level. And to help him out, we're also going to create a area right here where our dwarves will bring down some metal. So I'm going to designate that. Let's see, I believe our rock mechanisms have been made. So I will start linking up these different bridges to each one of those. We'll come down here to our levers. First one, we're going to link this lever to that very first one so we know, hey, stuff happens. This is the lever to pull. Start blocking off each one. Next thing you know, I'm going to go link this lever to this next one. I'm going to try to get it so that it's kind of a line of which levers I want them to pull. So that next one, and then this one will be this. And like I said, it can be a little bit tedious at times. And even if you accidentally forget which one is tied to which, you can actually come down here. Let's see. You can see show linked bridge or buildings now. Oh, hey, that's linked to this. Very helpful tool if you forget. You can also, some people I know have kind of created like a little sheet that they write down on and have it so that they know which one is tied to which. So that will be that. So I've got my 1, 2, 3, 4 set up, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this last one for now will be linked to that one. So it looks like I need 1, 2, 3, 4 more levers. So I'll come back down to here. I'll just dig this out just a little bit more so that they can actually have access to that. Come back down. It looks like they're digging away at this, which is really good. And I'm going to create a stockpile over here for any kind of metal ore. So I'll do custom. I'll come down here to stone, and I want any metal ores over here. Also economic ores. So I want the coal being brought down here, this lignite being brought down here, and then if we have it, I believe dolomite, kaolinite. These are those rocks that you smelt with the iron to create steel. I believe a lot of these other ones are. I don't need gypsum. Gypsum's completely different. I think that's the only one that doesn't do that. But I have that set up, and I probably will need to create a couple of wheelbarrows so that my dwarves will have access to wheelbarrows, bringing them up and down. So that's what I'm going to do over here. Whoops. Come back up here. Like I said, my scrolling wheel on my mouse is very sensitive. So we'll go up and down very quickly if I'm not careful. We'll just give a handful. We got 2 more for up here, 3 for down there, and we'll just let them get to work over there. It looks like our dwarves have gotten their prospective weapons. And one of the things I want to start doing is also bringing our stuff to mine down here. Oh, this is very important. So this dwarf has now been possessed, or is withdrawn from society. So let's find that static, and he's in a strange mood. Let's see where he goes. So he's claimed a building. So he will start. He's claimed this building, and he'll start kind of murmuring. And one of the things he's going to do is he's going to require certain items. It looks like he's actually only needs one item, luckily enough. Sometimes there'll be multiple ones. So if a dwarf stops at one of these workshops in a strange mood, they'll kind of say different things and you'll have to figure out what items they need. And if it's something that you don't have, well, you better try to get that, because if they do not get the items that they have or they need, then they'll go insane. But luckily, he only needs one stone, so this will be really nice. And actually, when he finishes this, he will become a legendary whatever item he's making. It looks like it's out of stone, so I'm assuming he's gonna be a legendary stone crafter. So that's gonna be really helpful. Although he's only 9, so it's gonna be many years until we can actually use him as a stone crafter. But it's good. He's got what he needed, so we'll let him get to work. Sometimes if they don't claim a workshop immediately, it means that you do not have a workshop set up, or the correct workshop, because there's multiple different ones. Workshops. There's, I believe, crafts, bowler. So if one of the dwarves needs one of those, this is like a crossbow area that they build. Jeweler, that's one. And there's also, I believe, clothing, leather, or the clothing and leather. Those are also ones that they can claim. So you just want to make sure your fortress has one of every kind of workshop that they can claim. the forges also, but some of these other ones like a loom, they won't because it's not creating a like finished good, a final product kind of thing. Those are more interim workshops that create items that are then used to create other items. So that's like the loom, the dyer, the ashery, some of these like the tanner, the butcher, the kitchen, fishery, farmer. Dwarves won't claim any kind of the farming items out of the furnaces. They might do the glass furnace or the kiln. Luckily, we do have sand if we need for that. The kiln, hopefully, we do have clay. I believe that was one of the things I made sure. Yes, we do have clay, so if we need to, we can gather some clay for them. But for now, let him get to work, and hopefully, he can get us some nice peace. And what I will do with his piece is I'm actually going to create a pedestal. So I'm going to go over here, create a pedestal. So most likely it's going to be a rock craft, and I can actually put that on a pedestal in a room, and dwarves will look at it and admire it. So I'm going to actually put it right here in our eating area where many dwarves kind of walk past, eat at, and hopefully it'll give them that extra boost from looking at a great piece of work, a great work of art, I believe is what they call it. Ah, there we go. Stacked to mom. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. Dwarven child has created Abercurlig, a bauxite crown. He offers it to the sizzling swords of brilliance. That is our group of dwarves. So this is one that is actually for everyone. Certain moods and certain things that are crafted. Some people might just claim it for their family line, but this is for everyone. So I'm gonna have that on display right here as soon as we can get that pedestal built. So when he gets that done, we should be all set. All right. Well, with that, I am gonna end episode 5 of this Let's Play. Hope thank you guys for joining me. If you stayed to the end, like it, comment, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Adios.